Get the comfy chair!
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd with your host, Walker Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
So this one, I mean, you've been quite busy lately, haven't you? Yeah, I've kind of put on the Facebook group, you've been a bit tied up with stuff, but you've got a little more time now. So we thought we'd slip in a comfy chair because it's been over 2 months since we last did one. So what we try and do is, for new listeners, is we try and come up with one bad or odd thing that we've watched or encountered, some media, and then 3 good things. So we can talk about what, over the month or two since we last recorded the comfy chair, we talk about those. So without further ado, do you want to go first or shall I?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go on then. What's your bad or odd?
It's bad and odd to me. I know some people like this, but it's Batman Ninja.
I keep meaning to watch this and I haven't got around to it. Weird, right? It's
a strange one. See, the way the advertising kind of made it look up until pretty much the last second was like a sort of like ancient samurai era Batman, which is not that uncommon for DC Comics, because there was like a whole thing about Batman's spirit being time displaced, so he ended up being like Batman in several different eras. And I could say that, but no, it's just a time travel plot. Right. Batman and a bunch of villains get transported back to some sort of era,
feudal Japan,
the Sengoku era of Japan.
Right.
And they have to sort of fight there. It's not very great, but it's got some big names behind it. Takashi as Okazaki.
Takashi does some voice work on this. Is that what you said?
No. Takashi Okazaki.
Okay.
The guy who made Afro Samurai was the character designer for this. The script was originally written by the guy who wrote Kill la Kill. Yeah, there's a lot of big names behind it, which is raises a real question of why it's so bad.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's not very fun, but it's just so confusing. Like, there's a whole bit where Joker just somehow turns, some big castle in Japan, like one of those big sort of tiered buildings. Yeah. He turns that into a giant robot.
Nice. Right, okay.
And it's called Arkham Castle.
Castle, right. I have to say, I haven't seen any of this, but I was kind of expecting it to be a bit like, or look a bit like, one of the more anime elements of the Gotham Knight series. You know that one?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's what I was kind of expecting.
It's pretty good. The ending is completely bonkers. Like, it's just so maddeningly confusing. So one of the primary villains is Gorilla Grodd, and he's got his own army of like armored monkeys that he can control with a flute. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds weird. That sounds weird.
Okay, but what's his name? Damian Wayne's monkey companion, I'm not joking, is able to play the Batman theme, so the on it, to control the monkeys to form a giant Batman with the help of some nearby bats, and he fist fights this giant robot building.
Sounds like we're getting into kaiju kind of territory there. That sounds bonkers, but not that much fun.
No, it's mainly because Batman keeps being really stupid throughout it.
That's not like Batman.
There's a bit where, because Joker and Harley Quinn are also there. They're like pretty much the primary antagonists of the film. They get beaten about halfway through and disappear, and later on they find like a peasant couple that kind of look like them and have like the same hair.
Yeah.
And, well, they're not Asian, so... and they find them, and they have no recollection of like before, like maybe a week prior, and they're just sort of farming, and they like start pleading with him. Red Hood is there, so he almost immediately just shoots them.
Nice.
But Batman comes in and is like, no, the Joker. I know the Joker. This isn't like the Joker. He must have turned over a new leaf.
How weird.
It's so confusing.
What a weird thing
Because that's not at all what Batman behaves like.
No, he's not very forgiving of the Joker, quite rightly.
Yeah.
That sounds really bizarre.
Not great.
Not great. Okay. All right. My I think, bad or odd is the recent film of Pet Sematary.
Okay.
I went to see it a few days ago. Bit disappointing. I think it didn't help. It was I'd watched the '89 version a few days before.
Yeah.
And Fred Gwynne puts in a hell of a performance. The rest of the cast aren't great actors in that '80s one, but he's really good.
Yeah.
Now this new film, they were better actors mostly, and we have John Lithgow as Judd Crandall.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it just wasn't very scary. Some of the plot building was just not good. It was like, well, why are they suddenly all friends now when they've not talked before? It's kind of stuff like that. Just poor plotting, really. And like I said, it wasn't scary, but I don't really mind if a horror film's not that scary as long as the rest kind of works. It definitely got better in the third act. Got better in the third act. However, it really, I much prefer the 80s version, and that might be a bit of nostalgia, but I think it's objectively a better film, actually. I do. The whole plot building in it is done way better, and the sort of build up to stuff. There was a few twists I didn't expect, and I'm not going to spoil them. I managed to avoid spoilers completely for all of this, which is quite good. Okay. But I just found it very mediocre horror for me, so a bit disappointing. I wouldn't say bad. I think that's too strong. It's just disappointing. I didn't go in with particularly high expectations or anything. I just thought, okay, well, let's give this a go, and it wasn't great. I think some of Stephen King's work deserves remake, right? Because of the sort of issues it's dealing with. For example, I think Carrie is an excellent thing to, remake every generation or every few generations because of the themes of like adolescence and stuff like that, and being an outsider. But Pet Sematary is not that kind of story, and I can see it, and I can see Carrie, and quite a few other Stephen King books work for a remake. But
it's not even one where like the effects could be brought up to like a more modern thing and improved sort of thing.
Yeah,
because it's just like it's like a kid with maybe a cut on his head.
Yeah. I mean, some of the effects were a little better, but honestly, I think the effects in the original are quite charming and don't really take you out of it. So I'm fine with those. Yeah, so a little disappointed. I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to spoil it at all for anyone. But I wasn't that taken with it, I have to say. I'd recommend the original and, in fact, the sequel to the original, Pet Sematary 2, where we have Clancy Brown completely off the hook, deranged, which is great fun. So I'd recommend the original film and its sequel ahead of this modern version. Anyway, back to you. Back onto the goods, right?
Okay, yeah. So my first good is an anime that's been going on since about... I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before. It's called Rising of the Shield Hero.
Okay, no, it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, so it's a story where this guy gets transported to a fantasy world. Standard sort of, it's like its own little subgenre of anime. But he's one of 4, like, destined heroes who wields, like, a holy weapon, which is, in his case, a shield. A sword, spear, bow, and shield. Now, straight off the bat, he's, like, quite at a disadvantage because the other 3 are kind of like they're much more confident and sort of like outgoing, while he's kind of an indoorsy type.
Yeah.
And like when they're divvying out like traveling companions, no one wants to go with him. They immediately latch onto the other three. But this one girl offers to go with him, and as they're traveling, when they like the first night they're out, he wakes up in bed to someone screaming. The armor that he's been given by the king is gone.
Yeah.
All his money is gone. And as he leaves the house, the woman is there, points at him, and goes, "He raped me."
Whoa.
Basically. And the whole it immediately puts him on, like, it removes him from, like, any sort of social interaction, really, because no one wants to, like, talk to him.
No.
But he's still supposed to, like, save the world, so they've got to keep him around.
Some of this anime
she's completely lying. She's completely lying, and it's all a big plot, because I've read the manga. I know how this goes, but it's all a big plot, because there's various reasons to be opposed to him, but he kind of turns into like this almost Sherlockian trickster after that. Like
How
he starts
strange.
He gets like this big cloak, and because he's got a shield and he can't use any other weapon but his shield, he can't fight. So he literally goes out into the middle of nowhere, finds like some weak monster. In this case, he finds these things called balls that are like just a sphere with a mouth, like Pac-Man. And he lets them bite him, and he puts his cloak over himself and walks back into town.
Right.
And it's just like he says, "I'll pay this for whatever the item is." And the townspeople go, like, "No, you're that like douchebag." And he like opens his cloak and lets one of the things fall out into the middle of the stall.
Wow.
It's like, well, I can get rid of this for you. Yeah. So he immediately goes like morally grey and kind of crazy after that, and he buys a slave. And then after that, it's kind of him traveling about with his slave girl. I'm not even joking. But it's a really interesting series because it's so hard to explain.
Yeah. Anime's a bit like this, isn't it? None of them are particularly straightforward at all. They're always sort of weirdly got a strange streak of immorality or amorality, I think, in them as well as part of the storytelling. It's kind of odd. Yeah.
But the story arc is he's basically trying to become the proper hero after this. He is rising, as it were.
Right.
He slowly starts to work it back as he starts to prove stuff wrong and like show that things didn't happen as they did. It's a really good show.
Detective story.
It's kind of mostly just a fantasy story. It's weirdly like mercantile. Like the group gets some sort of merchant mark that lets them travel a lot more, and so they basically start to sell stuff to like survive on it. It's a pretty good show.
Okay,
I recommend watching it. So.
My next pick is a movie. I saw it a couple of months ago now, I think. It was good fun, and I don't think I've had the opportunity to talk about it on the podcast. And it's Aquaman. I went to see Aquaman. Definitely one of the better modern DCs, which isn't a very high bar, let's face it.
I've actually heard some very good things about Shazam.
Oh, yeah, no, I've not seen that, so I can't really comment on that. Yeah. I still think of all the modern... Everything after Dark Knight Rises, let's call it that universe since then, only Wonder Woman's the real standout for me. Though I have recently watched some of the others, and I don't mind them as much as I used to. They're still not great, but they're okay. However, let's get to Aquaman. Yeah, I really like this. It wasn't as good as Wonder Woman for me, but there were certain elements. It was kind of crazy colourful. They definitely lost the downbeat, dark, greyed out sort of look and feel. And this is much more of an adventure. And there were certain bits of it that did make me laugh quite a bit. In many ways, it looked quite a lot like Avatar. In its colourfulness.
Okay.
And sort of look and feel. There's a lot under the water, and Avatar isn't under the water, but it's kind of It's got that sort of sea anemone kind of things floating around in the air kind of look. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of that in Aquaman, and the story was kind of fun. And Jason Momoa was okay. Yeah, he was quite a good Aquaman. Not like the comics Aquaman that I've read, but close enough. And this is kind of, I don't know, it's one of those reluctant to take your mantle kind of stories, a bit, Shakespearean or Arthurian or something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of that, and he's called Arthur, of course. There's some decent action scenes. The only thing that was really goofy was the bad guy. Was it Black Manta? Oh man, It looked goofy. It looked properly goofy, and it kind of.
Black Manta's probably one of the most intimidating DC villains for me.
Well, he looked like a high end. Those Japanese series like Transformers.
Yeah,
it looked like a high end version of that when it was fine. It was like, oh, this looks bad. But it was still kind of fun, and the rest of it was kind of fun, and there was some massive battles in it. And one thing that really made me laugh quite a lot was this fantastically gigantic beast appears, and it isn't a Kraken, but it's got a name a bit like that, like Karakin or something.
Yeah.
And it's got the voice of Julie Andrews. So it was kind of...
That sounds amazing.
Is this the true form of Mary Poppins? And it's
it might be. It might just be like a Pennywise situation.
Yeah. I've got
a giant squid thing living at the bottom of the ocean.
I mean, it's massive. It literally can take out an army with one swipe of a gigantic claw. That's how big it is. And it's involved in the battle. But there's some goofy stuff in this. It borders on Flash Gordon a bit. And I think they were kind of riffing on Guardians of the Galaxy. Somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard
James
a lot of
Wan
comparisons between Aquaman and Drax.
Right.
Like a lot of deadpan and a lot of dumb jokes. Sort of thing.
Yeah. And it's not bad. It's kind of entertaining. I'm going to get the Blu-ray at some point. That's how much I liked it. To give you a feel for goofiness, and the Flash Gordonness of it, at one point there's a ceremony and there's an octopus playing the drums.
That's not even Flash Gordon. That's like Disney.
Yeah. There's a touch of Little Mermaid in some bits. But it was kind of fun. I quite liked how it worked and how it was put together. The only real dark, and it's laughably bad, but it doesn't tell you how to film, is the Black Manta stuff. It's like, because they set the guy up who's going to be Black Manta pretty well, and pretty.
Do they actually give him a backstory? Because that's one of the things I remember about him from the comics is he doesn't really have a clear backstory.
Well, they set up who he is and what his problem with Aquaman is, but he basically gets all this cool armor from from the undersea world.
Yeah.
And then and it looks really cool, and he modifies it, and it looks goofy. It's like, why'd you change that? It's kind of a bit of that. I don't want to go on about it too much because it is, it's a minor thing. But, there's good turns all around. I thought Nicole Kidman was pretty good in this.
Nicole Kidman's in it?
Yeah. But it's all sorts. Not Dolph Lundgren pops up.
Oh my God, Willem Dafoe's in this. I need to see this.
Willem Dafoe, Patrick Wilson, who I really like Patrick Wilson. I think he's a bit underrated. He's not that great. Well, he's okay in this, but I've seen him in better. He was really good in things like Hard Candy, and he was pretty good as Night Owl in Watchmen as well.
Okay,
but he's in this. I always liked Patrick Wilson. I thought he should have had a better career. But he's the main bad guy in this, so that's all right. But not entirely well used. But it is kind of amazing to see a gigantic monster with Julie Andrews' voice.
I definitely need to see this.
I think in my review, let me read my review. Solid movie that at first appears to be a superhero movie, but it's in fact a Mary Poppins movie where we finally see Mary Poppins' true form. A giant interdimensional shape-shifting elder god who lays waste to entire armies with a single swipe of her gigantic claw. Yeah. So that's how I felt about it. Yeah, solid film. Anyway, I've talked about it too much. Yeah, so that's one to watch, and I'm looking forward to watching it again. I did enjoy it at the cinema, I have to say.
Okay.
Back to you.
Okay, so my next thing is Total War Warhammer 2.
The game!
Yeah.
Great game, this.
Yeah. So Total War is probably one of the most consistently good game series.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, the Warhammer, because you think Warhammer's going to be like just a goopy rip-off, don't you? Of the board game.
But Warhammer has such a deep lore, and the game just throws it wholeheartedly into it. There's like they've taken such like strange, like almost non-elements from the actual mythos. Like I think there's one line in a hello.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, sorry, the audio bugged out for a second.
Okay.
There's one line in like one book from like the 80s that mentions that there was a time that these Egyptian like zombies fought some elves.
Right.
And for that reason, there's a whole elf-like civilization down in Egypt named after those guys. And there's like zombie... It's all sorts of mental, because like you start with the standard Warhammer races. You got like your men, your orcs, chaos, rat men, lizard men, that sort of thing.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah. The Skaven are pretty good. They've got a mechanic whereby all of your generals have like treachery meters. Because Skaven are inherently backstabbers. They will just like kill all the people they know if it gives them like the slightest inch of power, sort of thing.
Can't rely.
But you've got to keep them A, fed, and B, loyal. So you've got to let them do the things they like to do. So if they like raiding, you've got to send them raiding. If they like attacking, like laying siege to castles, you've got to send them to do that. Because otherwise they will rebel and they will come back after you.
Wow.
And it's not good.
Yeah, it's got good balance, this game. Just for listeners who don't know it, this is kind of like Command and Conquer.
It's a combination
kind
of a turn-based game and like a real-time strategy game.
Yeah.
You play the overworld as like a turn-based thing where you slowly build up armies and you like gain land.
Yeah.
But when two armies meet, it zooms in closer and you play out the fight like real time. So
yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, Age of Empires is kind of similar. Command and Conquer. There's several games a bit like this, but these are very solid games. Good pick.
Yeah.
Has this recently been on Steam then or something?
It was actually on Steam like at the start of February.
Right.
And I've just been playing it like quite non-stop. It's so good.
Oh, okay,
like
cool.
Not to the sacrifice of anything important, but it was just so amazing. And the newest trailer is great. The whole thing is a parody of the scene in Predator where they like tear the forest apart with gunfire.
Yeah.
It's just that. Like
nice.
These bunch of rats walk out, and this is the big announcement of they're adding the all the heavy weapons to the Skaven faction.
Yeah.
And they like looked around and they start hearing noises in the undergrowth, so they just start like tearing it apart with chain guns,
nice.
flamethrowers, and like sniper rifles.
Cool.
It's so good. Oh, and the zombie pirates. They're mental to play as.
No, I haven't seen that. No. I have played this game, but I don't remember any of that.
Total War Warhammer 2.
I think I've played it.
You
know what? I'm thinking of the other Warhammer games. I'm completely thinking of completely different games. Yeah, Total War. I haven't played much Total War, so I'll shut up.
Okay,
I'll shut up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun game. I highly recommend it.
Cool. Right, my next pick is games, actually. It's games. I want to mention two, actually, but one more briefly than the other. The first one, which I'll keep brief, is Red Dead Redemption 2. Got through most of that.
Okay.
It started off, it's a great game, but I started off doing all the little side missions, hunting for special animals, taking pictures, all of that. But in the end, it's like, I just got to finish this game. Just went full throttle onto the main mission only. And I was playing it for many, many hours and just on the main mission, and it just kept going and going and going. Even when I finished the main mission, I think there's a good several hours more play. Part of the epilogue.
Likely.
So I got fed up with that bit at that point, so I didn't continue. I just got to the end. It's one of those I've got to do this game now points, you know. But man, really looked good. Really looked good on a big telly. Interesting game. They got a dynamic where you can auto ride, but if you know, and it's like, oh, I'm right on the other side of the map. I'll just set it to auto ride to go and make a cup of tea. But that's a mistake because at any point you could encounter outlaws who then shoot you. You know, and that happened more than once. And you lose all your swag as well. If so it's not fun. The other game I wanted to mention is one you and I played online, which was Apex Legends. Now, what did you think of this?
I quite enjoyed it. Like, I had some problems with the game, like technically. Like it had a weird fault where it kept freezing after loading screens. So I had to and it would only work if I alt tabbed out and then back in. So
I've played it since, and I think there's been a little minor update which stopped all that because it all seems good now. Now I've played this on 3 different machines: a PS4, an Xbox One, and they are very comparable, and a PC. PC's a different beast because you use different controls and stuff. It's a really fun game. It's one of these battle royales which I've never played before because I don't like playing online with other people. I just never like that. But this kind of works because one of the reasons it works well is because it's well made, for one. But they've set up this really cool sort of pinging systems where you can communicate quite effectively with the rest of your squad without having to actually use a mic or listen to people on the mic, because listening to people on the mic can be a bit off-putting, especially if it's like a 10-year-old or something. It just puts you off that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when people just like say, oh, there's a gun here, or, you know, let's go over here, but they're using like the controls to ping the information, that kind of works well. So essentially the thing is we're all dropped in the same area, quite a big area, 20 different squadrons of 3 players each. And it's survived till the end, right? It's basically I've got a few wins. I'm not great. I think I've developed into a decent support player. Let's put it that way, because the really good players are like amazing. They see things you just do not see. One of the things I like about the game is you can first you can get wounded but be healed. But you can also die, but if they come and collect from your little coffin thing a marker for you, they can actually reactivate you. But if you're dead and someone picks you up, you actually get to watch them play. And if they're a real badass, it's really entertaining to watch them like laying waste the whole squads on their own. Just figuring out the angles, knowing what to do. You know, throw a grenade. It's like throw a grenade, shoot, duck, charge up your shield, come out again, shoot again, and it's over and over again. And they're so good, and it's kind of fun, and it's free. That's the important thing. It's all free. You can buy stuff, but you don't have to. And they don't. There's no like tiered stuff. There's no like, oh yeah, the good players only go with good players. Everyone gets thrown in together. So it means if you're rubbish, you might get thrown in with a total badass and still come out on top.
Yeah.
But that means, you know, if you're a total badass, you might have to carry people as well. But it kind of works well. It's very enjoyable. I'm really digging it. I'm still trying to figure out the PC controls because, you know, when you play PC players use a mouse and a keyboard. They don't use a controller, which is a much more precise mechanism for shooting games, and quite fast. But you have to be and I haven't quite got the dexterity there yet. I'm trying to get to it though. Really recommend. Very, very, very high recommend for me. Apex Legends. Really digging it. Anyway, back to you.
Okay. My second to last one is another anime, actually. It's called Kaguya Love is War. Now, have you ever watched or read Spy vs. Spy?
No.
It's the best comparison I can make to this. But what it's about is these two kids, teenagers at this really prestigious school, and they're both like the absolute peak of their like respective things. So like the guy, he is like scored perfect on every single test, and the girl, she comes from like an insanely rich family, and she's like talented in everything. But they only see each other as like a potential love interest, but they don't want to be the one to confess, because that gives the other one the power in the relationship.
Okay, sounds like life.
The whole gimmick is they're trying to get the other one to confess, but these two idiots overthink everything to a ridiculous degree.
It sounds like a chick flick.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but it's a lot more sort of heartwarming than that. So,
and it's Kaguya-sama Love is War, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's let me give you an example of what it might be. So these two and a third friend of theirs, they're trying to organise like something to do over summer, like a holiday out sort of thing, just like a day trip. The guy suggests the mountains, because that could be a good place to, like, you can see the stars, and it's like all clear and tranquil. You can go camping, and it's all comfy and all that sort of thing. And he's like, yeah, that'll be a good one. He goes to suggest the mountains, and the girl immediately suggests the beach. And in her head, she's like, yeah, I can use the bikini, the woman's ultimate weapon sort of thing. And she's like, yeah, that'll catch him. And anyway, there's like bugs in the mountains, and you wouldn't want that. And he's like, oh yeah, there's all the bugs, and it probably rain too. And, oh, it'll be horrible. Yeah, we should go to the beach. He's only doing this all internally. So the girl then turns to their third friend, and is like, yeah, so we should go to the beach. And it like immediately zooms in on this other girl's breasts that are far larger than the first girl's. It's like, we cannot go to the beach. No. We need to go to the mountains.
Fair enough.
So now it's like that sort of goofy comedy shtick, and it's surprisingly funny.
Oh, cool. Sounds all right, yeah. It's a series, right? Or is it
one-off?
It's
a series.
Okay,
it's a series. I think you can watch it on Crunchyroll. I watch mine on Kiss Anime, which is probably not great, but
Okay, cool. Right, my last one is a TV series that I think has just hit its third season. It's just come out, but I watched. In fact, it was a rewatch of season 1 of it, and it is True Detective. Have you seen any of it?
No, I have not.
The first series of True Detective is spectacularly good. I've heard the second is not great, and I've heard the third is pretty good, but I haven't seen 2 and 3, but I intend to move on to them. But I had already watched season 1 and really enjoyed it. I'm going on a podcast on another... I'm going on another podcast called United Nations Horror to talk about True Detective season 1 in the next few days. But... so I'll be talking about it way more on that podcast. But however, I wanted to talk about it here. There's something about it. It's a super quality show. Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey are the main stars. That is a lot of charisma in one room, right? And they're quite different characters, but they do work together, and they are police partners for over several years, solving cases. However, this series starts off as like a murder mystery of, why was this girl killed in this way, and it gets more and more intense as it goes on, and then it starts to verge onto supernatural, but also with a touch of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and things like that built into it, and it's just really terrific, and it doesn't treat Isolde like an idiot. You're not just led around by the nose in the plotting. There's kind of time jumps and, what's happened here. But it doesn't matter because you know what's going on. If you're paying attention, you orientate. It's a thorough recommend, this series. This is like top 99%, top 1% of TV kind of quality. So very good series. So I thoroughly recommend that one.
Yeah.
And I'll get to season 2 and 3. So next, some other comfy chair in the future, I might talk about the other ones, but we'll see, right? Okay, so that's about the show, right? We're about there.
No, we got one more each.
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh, I've done 3. Don't we usually do 3? Or is it 4?
No, we did 4.
Oh, okay,
for a
go on
total
then.
of 5.
I have got one other queued up, so that's fine.
Yeah, my last one is a first-person factory building game. That got released, I think it was about 3-4 weeks ago.
Okay.
Called Satisfactory.
Satisfactory.
Yeah,
There's a board game called that, I think.
I mean, that might well be, but yeah, the idea of this is you're someone dropped off on a planet in the middle of nowhere, and you've got to sort of build up a settlement. But you don't just start with the settlement. Actually, you got to start with all the automation to make stuff for the settlement. And because it's in early access, you're only really making the stuff at the moment. You might be doing more in the future, but and it's a lot of conveyor belts and feeding it into machines, which you then take it out of with more conveyor belts, which feed it into more machines, and so on and so forth. It's basically you need to keep feeding the factory to get it to keep growing it. So eventually you'll. I don't know if there's an end goal to it so far. I can't remember from the thing, but It's really fun to like try and work out efficiency. I actually found myself doing some it's been I want to say like about 6 odd years since I've done some actual just sat down and done math for a while. It's been quite a while.
Yeah.
And I ended up sitting down and just working out some efficiency for this.
Is the vibe like Minecraft? Is it that kind of thing?
Kind of ish. There's monsters that will attack you. There's some that are passive, and you can build stuff, but you can't really disassemble stuff. You can dig a massive hole. It's not the same sort of creativity toy that Minecraft is.
Oh, okay.
You're building onto the environment as opposed to, or over it in some people's cases, to make these giant automatic factories that will pump out maybe two supercomputers a minute, but have about 5,000 separate components. It's mental.
Oh, wow. Okay. There's another game it reminds... maybe not. I'm thinking of another game and I can't remember the title, where you're wandering around somewhere a bit like Mars and you're extracting the ore and then building things from it and stuff like that.
Is it Factorio?
No, it doesn't. That isn't it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't sound that similar. So it's task oriented, kind of.
Yeah.
Or what else would be? I guess things like, I don't know. I'm stuck now. I can't think of any. But where you're building stuff out of simpler components, right? It's that kind of
thing. It's a survival game. It's like Rust or Ark or
maybe it's Rust I'm thinking of, or Ark.
Yeah.
Talking of which, I think there's a game like that free on. I think on the. I don't know if it's the PS. I think it's PS4. Conan Exiles is apparently a bit like that, and that's on PS4 as a freebie this month. Anyway. Okay, my last one is a movie. Again, you know what? I thought I talked about this, but I checked our archives and I never did. And it's kind of a cool horror film. The sequel came out in the cinema not long ago, and I wanted to and I never got to see the sequel in the end, although I do want to see it. And I'll rewatch this one. Happy Death Day. Have you heard of this one?
No.
It's pretty cool. It's kind of... Let me try and fill it in. It's kind of a cross between Heathers, Groundhog Day, and a slasher.
Okay.
So it's effectively a girl. It starts off and it appears to be a very mundane slasher. So it, very typical, not very good slasher. This girl who's a bit of a bitch is kind of doing stuff around campus and stuff's going on, but it then turns into she's being followed by someone who's a slasher, and the slasher kills her. But then the premise is she wakes up straight away the same morning.
Okay.
And the first time we see her, she wakes up in a strange bed, this guy and he's a bit nerdy and he's kind of nervous. and trying to talk to her, but she just like leaves because she's like, oh, how could I have done this? But she wakes up in the same bed, the same time, same day. And she slowly, and then basically it keeps happening again and again. She's trying to work out who's killing her. But she also finds out that she's suffering some sort of damage with each iteration, so she can't just do it forever. She has to figure out as quickly as possible. And the more it goes on, the better it gets, and the more likeable the character becomes.
Okay.
A bit like Groundhog Day, right? It's a bit like that. And in fact, right, I'll be careful with spoilers. There is a bit near the end where they actually... she talks about Groundhog Day. She goes, "Yeah, I've never seen that." But this story is really like that. It's like a slasher meets Groundhog Day, and because it's like set in a campus where people are being witches to each other, it's like really horrible. Girls are being really horrible to each other. It's kind of reminds me of Heathers a bit. So very solid horror film. It's not particularly scary, but it's very entertaining and well put together. And I really like the fact the actress, the character we first meet, goes from being quite unlikable, i.e. you kind of are happy to see her being stalked by a slasher because she's not a very nice person, to someone you actually really root for and has changed and become a much nicer human being through what's happening to her. So in many ways, it's a modern update of Groundhog Day. So it's kind of cool. So solid watch. And apparently the sequel is pretty good, but goes into different areas. Which sounds right. She basically becomes a much better human being that cares about other human beings by the end of the first film. And apparently the second film is her realising that if she gets into this loop, she can help other people that are having issues or threats or getting hurt. So she's being it sounds like quite a good natural progression from her character at the end of the first film. But I don't know much more about the sequel than that. I do want to see the sequel, but I just haven't got to it yet. It's not come out, and I missed it at the cinema, so I'm just waiting for it to come out. But the first one is a high recommend for me. Very good.
Okay.
And it improves with viewing. The second time it was even more enjoyable than the first time I watched it. So it improves. Yeah, so that's a good one. Okay, we're kind of done now, right? So we'll probably be back to something more regular next time we record, a movie or something. But we're about done. So bye from me.
Bye.